What we really tend to see with seasonal affective disorder is those symptoms. It's most common that they'll begin in the late fall and through the winter months.
It's starting to get a little more obvious. The days are growing shorter, a slight chill returns at times, reminding us that the seasons are changing. And maybe you even feel it in your mood. This is Health and Weather Extended, and it's time to talk about seasonal affective disorder, known as SAD. And I know this may seem a little early. However, the time to prepare is now. Unfortunately, as the pandemic continues, seasonal depression has grown in Canada.
During the pandemic, CMHA Ontario has conducted some polls, a series of polls to find out how Canadians are feeling about their mental health. So the third poll in the series was done this past February, and it really showed a striking drop in the percentage of Canadians who rated their mental health as excellent or very good. People reported feeling lonely, anxious, feeling down. So it wouldn't be surprising to think that at a time when lots of Canadians feel impacts on their mental health, that the pandemic and seasonal affective disorder combined would definitely take a toll on people's overall health and wellness.
About 2 to 3% of Canadians will experience SAD in their lifetime, and people with seasonal affective disorder make up about 10% of all depression cases. According to Melanie, that's about a million Canadians. It's important to understand that seasonal depression is diagnosed. It's a long-term issue, and simply put, it's not just the winter blues.
The research has shown us that it's about 15% of Canadians will experience something called the winter blues, where our mood dips slightly, maybe our energy is a little bit different, and we're experiencing some changes during that time. Typically, with the winter blues, people are able to cope pretty easily with those symptoms. But seasonal affective disorders, when those symptoms become more long lasting, more severe, and they can have more of an impact on our day to day life.
And that's why getting into a healthy routine right now is key. Melanie suggests things like picking up a new hobby and make sure you can carry that hobby right through the winter time. Socialize and connect with friends and family in a safe way. Fuel yourself with nutritious foods, get a proper sleep, and make getting outside a priority. Living in Canada does put people at a higher risk for developing seasonal affective disorder. We see such a dramatic drop in daylight as we go through the fall and into the winter. It can be tough to cope with. And that's why many people, especially Canadians, have turned to light therapy as part of a healing routine. Some new research has suggested that bright morning light may be the most useful. So when that sunrise is beaming, even in the depths of winter, take advantage of that natural glow. Soak it up for at least 15 minutes. And if you can't rise with the sun, then artificial lamps may be the next best thing.
They're called happy lights. They're called full spectrum lights. They go by a number of names. But what light therapy is it's sitting under or by those lights. And it has shown some effectiveness in reducing the symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. So it has some impact on the chemical in our brain that can relieve some of those symptoms. So if you think that you may have seasonal affective disorder, best thing that we can suggest is visit a healthcare provider. You can talk to them about the range of things that you're experiencing. So the physical changes, the emotional changes, the mental changes, the changes in mood that you're experiencing. That's when that healthcare provider can talk about what they're seeing and possibly make that diagnosis of seasonal affective disorder and talk about some treatments that may be helpful.
Thanks for joining me in Health and Weather Extended, the chat about seasonal affective disorder and why we need to start planning now for those darker days of winter.